Hello, welcome. Thanks for looking in. Today we'll take a look at some operations on the Petaluma and Santa Rosa Railroad. It was a small overhead electric road that provided passenger and freight service to its namesake cities to the north of San Francisco, bringing produce from the many apple farms of Sebastopol, eggs from Petaluma, the egg capital of the area, down to the wharf at Petaluma. The cargo would then be loaded onto the railroad's stern wheel boats for transportation down the Petaluma River and south across the bay to San Francisco. I've always been intrigued with little steeple cab electric motors, so, starting with a motorized chassis made by Kato, I scratched together this version out of styrene. Then, of course, installed a catenary system using Easy Line for the wires, which was a pleasantly easy task, though my old eyes were quite challenged, to say the least. And while the pantograph doesn't quite make contact with the wires above, it still looks pretty cool. There's just something about how such a small wire can power a railroad. The ill-fated Ocean Shore Railroad closed up shop in 1920, and it sold two of its freight motors to the P&SR, using the trucks and motors from one of those and the body from a former Sacramento Northern unit. The P&SR put together the 506. Coming in from Santa Rosa, the 506 pulls 6 cars and its caboose into town. The 506's 500 horsepower proves up to the task. The P&SR serves several small farming towns in the area and interchanged with the NorthWestern Pacific at Santa Rosa and Petaluma. And while eventually the P&SR would be bought by the NWP, things weren't always so cooperative. When the Petaluma and Santa Rosa's tracks first reached Santa Rosa in 1905, there was quite a fight, an all-out brawl indeed, as the railroad attempted to install their crossing diamond across the NWP's predecessor, the California Northwestern Railroad. Here we see the little juice jack positioning cars at the wharf in Petaluma, soon to have the loads transferred to the company's stern wheeler for transit the rest of the way to San Francisco. It's said that the company's steamboats hauled more eggs than any other boat in history, and I can believe it. Beyond the Petaluma wharf, the P&SR also served the big granaries of the area, which in turn supplied feed to the many chicken ranches of the area. The little road did keep quite busy with its freight business, supplying farm fresh eggs to the city down the bay, and during apple season, it had its hands full moving Pacific Fruit Express briefers to and from the farms of the area. Moving interchange traffic off of the Northwestern Pacific, the little road had much to do, serving various industries along the line. Construction started on the little electric railroad in 1904, and it was named the Petaluma and Santa Rosa Railway. Falling upon hard times in 1918, it was foreclosed upon and reorganized as the Petaluma and Santa Rosa Railroad. In 1932, the road was bought by the Northwestern Pacific, a subsidiary of the Southern Pacific. Here we'll watch the 506 reach in down the spur to Associated Oil and pull a few empty tank cars out from there. Having cleared that spur for the moment, we'll watch the 506 position some incoming loads going down to a team track that shares the same trackage. Having just taken beans at the Southern Grill, the crew of the 506 gets back to work, pulls a few cars down the line. Here we watch the little electric motor work the yard. A little bit of an interchange there in Petaluma with the NorthWestern Pacific. The entire yard does not have wire, and so some of the tracks have to be reached by adding a couple of cars to the consist so they can reach in and get to cars further down the interchange where there is no overhead wire for power, but they seem to be managing very well. And though its own company cars did not see interchange service out on the big railroads, they were indeed very busy, delivering goods to their railroad's other link of transport, their stern-wheeled steamers that would make daily trips to San Francisco, tying up there at Pier 9. The steamers would navigate the 16 miles of the narrow Petaluma River waterway before entering the bay. Dredging the waterway was quite necessary in keeping this shipping lane navigable. Indeed, probably winning the award for a railroad herald with the most verbiage attached certainly must have belonged to the Petaluma and Santa Rosa. December of 1946 would pretty much see the end of electric motor service on the Petaluma and Santa Rosa. All the electric motors, except for the 506, would be retired. The 506 would continue in yard service at Petaluma until July of 1947. With the 506 fading off the scene, we were about to meet P&SR's diesel-powered replacements appear on the stage. The P&SR would acquire General Electric 44-tonners to take over duties, their lightweight being easy on the old electric railway's trackage. And so, a new chapter begins. Thanks for looking in.